like it, but you just don't get it. He knows a little about the fuse that I'm about to light, just how you want it.
Hello everyone and welcome back. Another day of IESF. Got another two good old best of threes, I believe, to be able to cover and see who can qualify through today.
Yeah, we have two best of threes today. First, we're going to start off the day, Serbia versus Bosnia and Herzegovina. And then after that, it looks like it's North Macedonia versus Israel.
Sounds about right.
I could be wrong on that. Let me find the Twitter or the Twitch. Got the Discord messages that was sent telling us who's playing today. If you want to fill for just a second.
First, that is true.
Yeah, it's Macedonia versus Bulgaria. North Macedonia versus Bulgaria is game number 2.
There we go. Yep, but with a Serbia versus Bosnia here, but let's go over those rosters though. We'll get appreciate. Got the Serbian one to start us off, Baranja, Tons, Malan, Mixa, and Blocktop. And I guess the question is what this group enjoys going for the most.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do.
Plan's going to be.
I was trying to do some scouting before the game started, and unfortunately, I was not really able to find a whole lot of information. But a lot of these guys, they don't keep their professional tag as their gamer tag, so I was struggling to find a way to search for their esports profiles was what the issue was. So it's going to be a little bit of uncharted waters for us as we get into this game number 1. At least we'll have a little bit better idea in game number 2. But at the end of the day, it's all just Dota. It's all just Dota. These guys, they're going to be playing sound professional Dota. I wouldn't be surprised if the meta is pretty similar to what we've been seeing and what we saw yesterday. See some Shadow Demon picks coming out, things along that lines. But we'll have to see if there's some extra creativity. Maybe we'll get to be treated to some Meepo today or something else that's super crazy. I saw a Meepo game not all that long ago at it was EG Beast Coast during the Tour 2 of the SADPC. They ran Safe Lane Meepo, Parker Meepo, and I believe they won that game. So the Mega Meep, he is a problem.
Yeah, we can see those whole second groups got Albania, Bosnia, and Herzegovina. Serbia got a Georgia with Turkey and Moldova. Azerbaijan, Bulgaria, North Macedonia covering Group D, and Israel, Montenegro, and Ukraine in the Group B. So got a good variety, getting a bit more of that Western or Eastern representation now.
Yeah.
So I make sure to get my directions flipped conveniently every single time.
It's all right, buddy. We're American. We don't have to know geography. That's our God-given right.
Yeah, and someone really needs to take it away from us at some point.
You're not wrong, brother. You're not wrong. It would be cool if I knew heads from north from south sometimes. I go outside and I'm just like, sure, that's north.
It's always scooping up with the good old east and west. Really screws with people for whatever the reason.
Oh man. So were you able to do any scouting or anything like that for this game? Do you have a favorite coming in between Bosnia and Herzegovina and Serbia?
Not at the moment. I have a feeling that we are going to have to just kind of strap on the rails, trust on our previous experience, and whatever we end up seeing here, because this is going to be, I imagine, new territory for everyone involved. So we're going to have to kind of play it by ear and see what gets thrown our way. I trust that we're going to see a couple of the same bands. I wonder if the very day recent meta moves of this focus towards the Morphling and the Broodmother, these sort of heroes, starts coming on in, or if we start seeing a little bit more of the classic stuff that we're used to seeing of the focus on the Medusas.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to do a little bit of scouting on these teams, trying to figure out what's going on with them. I think I do favor Serbia just a little bit. They have a TI player in their ranks, whereas just looking at all these Bosnian guys, they've not played in a whole lot of professional tournaments. They're all still red links on Liquipedia. They're not blue links. They have a couple of blue links, 3 blue links on the side of Serbia. So I think they have a little bit more experience, and I think that experience will transcend onto the field of play. So with just that going in, I think Serbia should be the favorites coming into game number 1. Into the first series, anytime you have somebody that's been to TI and performed at the highest level like that, they know pressure, and they're able to put all of the noise into the background and just focus on the game. And IESF is not going to be anything compared to playing at TI, so I think Milan will be able to keep his head on straight and lead his troops to victory.
That'll hopefully be the ideal goal to keep in mind. Although, don't want to be able to truly just bite down on it simply just yet. There always can be those bit of future surprises.
The favorites are just the favorites. There's always the chance for an upset. That is always on the field. Okay, so it seems like Booktop as well as Borania, they both play on the same team, Level Up, which is a Serbian stack, as Booktop is the owner and founder and CEO of this. So,
Gotcha.
Andy's a mental coach and fitness instructor. So we're just getting to learn all sorts of fun information about the competitors today. Thank you to Liquipedia. Shout out to that website. That is the saving grace of my life as a Dota caster. But
Giving the savior and the random fun facts.
Oh, of course, yeah. So I mean, that right there, that also gives me another reason to favor Serbia. If he's a mental coach, if he's a life coach in general, then like leading your boys through a game of Dota and keeping the comms hot and keeping them controlled will be easy. That'll be something that's perfectly inside of his wheelhouse. So if things start to get choppy, stuff like that, he should be able to get the boys back into lines and pardon me. And yeah, get them focused back on the objective at hand. Every game of Dota is winnable. There's very few games that are unwinnable. I think we saw one yesterday with that with the Puck Magnus draft. As we are still waiting on the draft, that's why we're kind of fluffing and filling here this morning, guys. Hang in there with us. But yeah, hopefully the games will be a little bit more competitive than that last game number 2 that we got to saw yesterday, Trev.
Yeah, certainly, and taking a good old look at it, I am curious with all the matches that have been played in that previous 4 groups. It seems like the most popular heroes that we can list out, which certainly makes sense with the record we've seen, is the Ember Spirit, the Skywrath Mage, the Shadow Demon, the Spirit Breaker, and the Undying. I have a feeling we're going to see at least a couple of those, a lot more.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, 50% average win rate on the Undying and Spirit Breaker. It's specifically the Shadow Demon and the Skywrath that's been such a difference maker.
Dude, that Shadow Demon yesterday was intense. That guy, he had no chill. He was saving all of his boys. Private Ryan, he made sure that boy was saved 7 ways to Sunday.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, every single time this Shadow Demon gets put through the veto and a team's allowed to pick it up, feels like their win chances just significantly increase due to the amount of raw damage, dispel, and save this hero can provide. So much flexibility that there's no way to adjust to. But we're going to go with a little bit of an old school pre-last mini patch and meta development. So maybe a few days old with the methodology coming forward, considering that we have the Medusa and the Wind Ranger. The first one's being banned. The two, I would say, most notable heroes recently in the patch. Not that same slap and power to them that there was previously.
Yeah, I
Same
don't think that's
arguably
really
with the
too much of a
Beastmaster.
surprise. I think that teams, it takes them a while to develop after a new patch, even if it's a mini patch. So they'll still continue to revisit the old ideas from the last patch until it's been entirely proven that there are better ideas. So not too much of a surprise to see bans stick to the same as they were before the mini patch. But now we'll start to see things getting a little bit spicy. We'll start to see some more creative ideas and stuff like that, is the hope.
Yeah, it's certainly the main goal and benefit to keep in mind. So I have to wonder the interesting pickups. We saw how inescapable and difficult it can be to properly capture a Pugna, even with a nullifier or two. This hero has just so much escape and harassment tools that you have to break that can keep him alive.
5 seconds remaining.
That life drain having insane damage and scaling normally synergizes well with something like the Medusa that's been banned out.
Yeah, give me all my mana back.
But if there's any reliance on these spellcaster heroes, this Rubik's already going to be a good pick for punishing it. Immediately able to bring it out in response. Strong lane dominator. Gets that level 6. Can just dominate team fights on his own. How much cast range he has. And when you have a Lich to protect your other backline, sure, your supports are kind of predicted and locked into place. But it gives you those comfort picks. It's some of the strongest ones you can bring out on the pool. And it gives little information of what kind of cores or progression that Bosnia and Herzegovina are going to go with it. And we saw the one Lycan Whimper. Now all you have to do is bring out something like the Faceless Void, and there's likely little this Lycan can do about it.
Yeah, that would make the Lycan sad. Right now, they're seeing these squishy backline supports, and now they have a backline diver that can get their hands on them and sink the teeth in and just rip them limb from limb. So, I think that's the general thought as far as the Lycan pick goes in. I was kind of expecting something like this, as they had the 8 pick, and Bosnia came out showing these two kind of squishy support duos. They are good in lane. They provide good team fight. They do a lot of good things, but they are a little bit on the squishy side. The ice armor from Lich will help him just a little bit, but at the end of the day, his health pool isn't all that big, so the Lycanthrope, he can just kind of chew through him, chomp through him, throw him around like a ragdoll, and then spit him back out whenever he's done.
Yeah, certainly. One of the fun ones. And now we have all those offlaners with some form of damage block that wasn't nerfed by the Vanguard getting banned out. Both the Timbersaw and the good old Tide Hunter. That
Man, I just want to see some Tide gaming.
Outshine recently. It would be fun. Been able to see decent performances from it. Been able to have that influence, but I mean, with how the meta's boiled down, heroes most likely to get removed at this point. And
I
as
just
much
love
as I
me
was
some watermelon.
I was confused with the start with, you know, the Medusa, Wind Ranger, just these classics getting banned, but we have a lot more of the quote-unquote current picks removed now between the Beastmaster, the Doom. Having the Juggernaut and Storm are some interesting wild ones to go for. So I feel like there's plenty of other options to replace them.
I think there are plenty of other options to replace them, but the Storm Spirit would absolutely wreck these supports as well. So, that's, yeah. And I mean, he has the best way to get in and out as far as the spirits goes. And they're going to cover their track.
Offlaner can deal with any of the harassment early on from the wolves, as well as help you with that tower pressure.
And this is their answer to the other spirits, right? Because Storm Spirit, he can just kind of go in and zip right back out. and pop out your support in like 2 seconds, 3 seconds. These other ones, they have to astral step in, they've got a remnant in, and then after that, you got to place another remnant to remnant out, or you got to astral step your way back out. That Pit of Malice just kind of cancels that play while you're going through your cast animations and stuff like that. So that's kind of their spirit answer for the other heroes. But they're just going to flip it, put the Lycan into the off lane, most likely, and pick themselves up a Slark. And now they're going to have a bad Slark problem this game.
Yeah, I mean, there's still so many bans for them to get the answer to this, and they have the full veto time to decide the next play. Ember doesn't feel like the best answer to handle this to me. Although there isn't anything explicitly wrong with it. Normally you'd want the Sven with the Shadow Demon. That's when we saw it really able to shine and succeed. So I don't know if you'd want to go into it against a Lycan directly. And we have a distinct lack of Morphling being shown yet. Which if someone on Bosnia is comfortable to play that,
10 seconds
that
remaining.
would be an absolute beast to bring out in this situation.
5 seconds remaining.
Be very difficult to deal with in a game like this. Other options include potentially the classic of something like the Bloodseeker.
Yeah, I'm kind of
Things that
surprised to see
can
the
punish that
Bloodseeker not
Slark
get
from that
banned.
escape. Yeah, but does Bosnia see it is the real question.
Radiant team pick.
As they decide to go for their last pick, a mid-snap fire, likely, inbound. Pretty decent answer to handle the Ember.
I just realized that we're probably going to have a Fish Wolf in this game, and that is going to be spicy.
10 seconds remaining.
Yep. The Lycan being able to benefit what he
5
does
seconds
best in the shared
remaining.
lifesteal. All the more reason to have the Bloodseeker punish that movement speed, eventually have the 2 charges so you can punish both the Lycan and the Slark. Able to kite around, not worry about the Pugna slow and the Witch Doctor trying to lock you down with the Husk bounces and the ulti. A lot of good benefits that work with it.
I don't know if the Bloodseeker has enough HP to deal with the Pugna harass in lane, is the thing that I would be worried about if they picked up the Bloodseeker. Because those Nether Blasts stack up pretty quick.
They do, but that's usually balanced out. It's not about the survival, it's about the harassment afterwards, because it doesn't matter how much you take him down. He last hits 2 or 3 creeps, and then he's back up to full. So he's able to easily sustain in lane against something like this Lycan Pugna. It'll be a bit annoying to deal with, but it should be a perfectly comfortable matchup to be able to address it. Hence why it's also being brought out.
Yeah, they went ahead and doubled down with it, picked up the Bloodseeker anyways. I'll be interested to see how it plays out. I honestly don't know if I've ever seen a Lich Bloodseeker lane against a Pugna Lycan lane in my life. I'm honestly not sure if I've ever seen that lane combo. If I have, it's only been once or twice. So that's just where my questions come from. It's a genuine question from a place of not knowing. Is really all that it is. I just because yes, he can regenerate and heal himself back up. So that lane, it's either going to be a farm fest of a lane because the Lycan with his regeneration and the Pugna support, they'll be able to just kind of split farm. But I'm worried that it'll just be too much consistent harass that the Bloodseeker is going to struggle to regenerate to make up the mark.
I don't think that's going to be an issue because you're going to have the Lich protecting him, adding in that armor to begin with. You're going to have the Underlord with all those auras and the trophy just nullifying all those agi stacks and damage the Slark's trying to gain. And the universal scaling with the Lycan. It'll be able to help slow that down and completely nullify that. It works completely innately with that when you add in top of the fact that Ember Spirit has that root and lockdown that you can combine with that Lich ulti. And while Serbia is trying to cast all those spells through the Snapfire, through the Witch Doctor, and through the Pugna, the Rubik can just snatch whatever he needs to be able to help his team out and just put it back against them. It is a little bit more execution heavy to be able to pull it off, I will say, but I'm enjoying what I'm seeing a lot more from Serbia.
Okay, so you're favoring the Serbian draft?
Comfortably, for sure.
Okay.
This is a bit blind, so we don't know what to expect from these players just yet, but I'm expecting this Bloodseeker to have a great game.
Okay, so then you're favoring the Bosnian draft.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, no, I got confused, and then as soon as they took it off of the screen, I immediately forgot what side had what heroes, so... I don't know. I think I'm going to favor the Serbian draft. I think they're just going to outpace them. I think they're going to be able to outpace them with this Lycan Pugna draft. Because I think this Lycan, he's going to build items like the Helm of the Overlord and stuff like that. Kind of more classic rat Lycan Dota. Rather than like what we saw yesterday with the Lycan carry. So with that pushing power combined with the Pugna pushing power, I think they have good team fight as well. So I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I'm excited to see it play out because I could definitely see this going the way of Bosnia. I think this is a very close game, a very close draft. But like I said, I favored Serbia coming in, so maybe it's just me favoring the players over the drafts themselves. Maybe I'll be proven wrong here, and you'll be proven right. I love to be left, anyways.
Of course, when we don't get our directions confused as well.
Begins for good and all.
It all comes down to this.
But for now, able to have that pretty standard start. No one getting picked off early. Standard setups, nothing too crazy being brought on out. Of course, having the pretty predictable lanes. Snapfire mid. No real surprises when it comes to the laning plans after this draft that's gone through. There'll be no big shockers in that aspect to go with.
Already some very heavy early harass in the mid lane.
Yeah, you've mentioned the building of, you know, the traditional old Lycan, but with the universal, a lot of this power does come from the stats now, so going for something like the Overlord, even though it's great for the team, it totally shuts down this early scaling in the power that the Lycan would want to rely upon. Bit hard to say whether or not he wants to fight on it. And speaking of which, this Slark's going to have little to protect him. The Witch Doctor's great at going aggressive with that pass bounce and the good old Maledict, which is the best way to get protection. But again, no way to save this Slark, so he's going to be traded out. And I have a feeling the Bosnians are going to be happy with that.
Yeah, I think so. First blood goes to the Witch Doctor, not to the Slark. I think if it goes the other way around, Serbs are happy with it, but... And now this is a dead Witch Doctor, I think. Maybe not.
Maybe not just yet. Right now, already the harassment bringing down the Bloodseeker rather low, but now he has the movement speed. He can easily just kite in and out as necessary. Pull those creeps a little bit more proper. And he should be able to get those regens. I think he'll still need that level 2 of the Thirst, so it might be a minute or so before he can get that more proper sustain in. Especially with the tower denying and the last it's having a harder time, and now this Lich is isolated. The Wolves getting the block off. And now he's trying to do his best to run, but of course the Wolves are faster. So we'll be able to get the kill off of it. But as mentioned, the Bloodseeker has the space to go for those last hits. He's now all the way back up to full, no issue.
Yep, they opted to sacrifice the harassment on the Bloodseeker to try to get the kill on the Lich. Not sure if it was necessarily worth it. We'll have to see how it all plays out, because the Bloodseeker, he was essentially able to take a full wave or two for free under his towers, so while they were chasing through the woods to get that kill on the Lich.
Did a great job at delaying it. You can see this Witch Doctor wants to continue going aggressive to create the space for the Slark, but already brought down low, having to go for an early Voodoo restoration level and try to use it to have enough sustain to be able to continue harassing with those blood grenades. With how tanky the Underlord is, the Rubik doesn't mind getting in that early harassment. Only a stack or two given away to the Slark, which isn't going to matter because of that Atrophy Aura.
Right.
A beautiful counter setup in the matchup.
Arms for the dead.
And you even see it in the last hits. The Slark's having a hard time not having the same level of success as this Bloodseeker is able to get away with. They do have the benefits of the mid lane. The Snapfire is able to dominate this Ember, start things off. So small price to pay. So again, we can see this Bloodseeker able to get away alive just fine, and he'll be getting a creep kill or two. Getting another 100 HP or so, and able to slide, get a cheeky little play on the Courier. That Blood Grenade against most of these cores, very useful, but with just that base magic stick, he can freely just keep on running and have no issue as hard as the Pugnant is trying to cut corners and chase. It will not be enough, and he'll be able to have that support and the salve come in from the Lich.
Radiant's middle tower
is under attack.
It's good at delaying the last hits, but I would be impressed if they got a single kill on this Bloodseeker.
Yeah, I think something would have to go to awry in order for them to get a kill on the Bloodseeker, or a rotation from the Snapfire, something like that. Maybe bring the Witch Doctor through the portal as well. But I was thinking that they might be able to just kind of out-harass him from the lane more than he's able to regenerate. And it looks like they did bring the Witch Doctor through the portal.
Trying to set up a little bit of a surprise bottom while the creep waves pushed in. Going to make it a bit dangerous, but the one benefit with the Lycan is he wants to build all these stats, so he's going to innately be very tanky on these early levels. But deciding to have to back away as they're able to keep that good old creep equilibrium going. Storm Rage looks to be taking his way to try to go back to helping his Slark. It was pretty obvious where the Witch Doctor was going to head to go, considering that the Snapfire is having such a dominant mid lane at the moment. Nowhere else for him to be, other than supporting bottom. Again, we have this Witch Doctor. I mean, the offensive capabilities is wonderful, but the defensive capabilities just do not exist. The Slark's able to barely get away, trying to turn around, steal some essences, rely on the rotation of the Snapfire for a beautiful bait and switch. But no way to stay in there to try to get any of those early permanent Agi stacks.
Now they're gonna have to go on the Lycan.
doing its best.
Able to teleport out. That's the one benefit. This Lich doesn't have any way to interrupt teleport just yet. Going for the full levels of the Ice Armor and Blast. But again, Bloodseeker up to full. The Lycan's harassed out of the lane. They're starting to get this comfort. And the Snapfire had to rotate to help out top. So that's going to be able to give some space to Ember to start recovering this mid lane.
Yeah, and at least in SA, they play Ember as this kind of almost sacrificial core. Because the Ember with his kit, he doesn't necessarily need a whole lot of items. He can still have a high game impact just by his kit and using his spells and dancing around the fights. So even though he's had a struggle in this laning phase, that doesn't even necessarily mean much for his game. He could still have a very good game and have very high impact, especially with this extra little bit of space that he was able to achieve with the Snapfire rotation.
Just means he's going to need a bit of jungling. The Bloodseeker getting harassed, but Snapfire not able to land any of the fire puddles on him initially with that warning sign of the Lich, and now the Rupture being turned on in. The Lycan doing his best to try to chase after the Rubik. Now with the Bloodseeker already able to find that first. This Witch Doctor not having level 6 yet, doesn't have a way to pump out this damage and left in a bit of danger. As we have both of these side lane cores starting to do this fighting and harassment, and a surprise Ember Spear gets all that spellcast damage off. The Snapfire will be able to go for the quick teleport away. The Witch Doctor will not be so fortunate.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. That's not gonna hold.
The question is, how do you adjust to this Bloodseeker that's been able to get his 6? Rupture now down. So a moment for the Lycan to try to recover. But if this entire net worth lead you're able to build of about 800k of the Snapfire versus the Ember is starting to melt due to these pickoffs, with him being able to find just the right timing to be able to participate, even though he suffered early on in the lane. Now the Slark with 6 is going to help against the Underlord harass, but he's going to have to do it, accepting that he won't have a tower anymore. I haven't had a glance at his items just yet, but I can't imagine it's going to be the most enjoyable experience for him to jungle this early on, as we have a fight and a Witch Doctor being picked off, yet to get level 6 once again.
Yeah, things looking very good for the Bosnian side right now. They've not really hit their timings yet. We're still low levels on the supports, not level 6s coming out yet. So this laning phase, I would say, definitely was a win for Bosnia, as that's going to be a cookie miss. If they land that cookie, maybe that's a kill on the Bloodseeker. Instead, he's going to try to turn this around.
Doesn't even need to try to turn this around. The stolen Snapfire ulti, and this is why this Rubik's so valuable. Provides the lockdown to completely shut down the Snapfire. And with the double roots between the Underlord and the Ember, the escape from this Lycan is non-existent. Shapeshift not mattering at all. Gets hunted down. Provides movement speed for his blood hemorrhage the entire time.
They're hemorrhaging kills across the map right now, Trev.
And this is exactly what I was afraid of.
I'll take that.
Because this Slark is able to get a bit of jungling going to try to get a bit of gold, a bit of space, getting close to that Echo Saber. But has little else to his name. And the rest of the team of Bosnians able to take full advantage of it. Just beautiful 2-shot from the Rubik. Bit of revenge soon to come in, ideally, but now with the Rupture, of course, the concern of that bouncing casket.
Yeah, it's going the
with
other
the Lich
way.
Ice Armor, he can easily tank that, even pop out the full ulti. A little bit unfortunate on the bounce, but still, the damage comes through. The Bloodseeker can clutch out last moment, get that kill needed to stay alive, and now can go back to some good old jungling to get a little bit more comfortable in terms of the HP.
Yeah, that Bloodseeker coming over just ruined that entire play for them. All started with the Rupture preventing them from being able to move. The Lich rotates over, throws out the Chain Frost, and things just go south really, really fast for the side of the Serbs. Oh,
There
lift,
was
drag
a
back.
small chance for the Sapphire to be taken down. And we'll give him the rare opportunity to be able to escape. Quick rotation from the Ember is going to mean the Pugnus picked up, and having the Underlord surprise in the backline with that ulti, able to start getting this harass in on the Snapfire. We'll be able to get much more for the second. As this Bloodseeker still working on recouping. He does have the 3 levels in the Thirst that should speed it up, but not able to fully pump out the jungle creeps as quick as you would like. Soon to have consequences of the action, so as the Bloodseeker can dive into the Witch Doctor, get that regen, and get within the range of the Snapfire, quickly running away, but thankfully the Wolves will be fast enough to catch up to him and finish him off.
Like and dive, like and dead.
And the Wolves end up being a bit of a nightmare punish, allowing a bounce target, completely outplaying the Lycan and shutting him down as soon as he tries to go for the chase against the Lich. A lot of rotations from both teams being forced around the map, so Snapfire able to enjoy being in the lead of network, but the Ember Spirit able to jump around the map is closing that gap. Most importantly, this Bloodseeker's got almost 1,000 network lead on the Slurp.
Yeah,
Still
the
little to
Bloodseeker
his name.
proven to do exactly what he wanted him to do, or exactly what his job was. He's having a good game so far, and it's just on them to keep the momentum rolling.
I'm not surprised by that. The Pugna barely able to get away with a little bit of a deny on that shield rune, so it won't be taken away by the Ember. Would have certainly encouraged him to be able to go try to hunt down wherever this Slark may be. But you can see there's little pressure in this situation
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
of this Slark from Team Bosnia to worry about. They're just willing to let him freely farm in jungle because they understand this Bloodseeker is able to get far more out of it. You can see the Slark farm starting to accelerate a little bit more now that he has all the proper levels in that Echo Saber to help him with the farming.
Yeah.
Has that mana regen for the Dark Pact.
Yeah, but we still have Maelstrom up on the Bloodseeker, so Bloodseeker should be able to out-farm him, I would think.
I would presume so, especially with all the team fighting and just harassment in general going on. Going to give him that movement speed to be able to move around the camps. Deciding to want to go for a bit of mid pressure. Don't know how hard they want to dedicate towards this push, but considering the Snapfire and Witch Doctor are going to try to rotate in and get a little bit of a surprise with Smoke Gang. Might work rather well as the Pugna gets that early harass, bringing that Ember low. So all it needs is that Atos from the Snapfire. A lovely early 4-staff purchase from the Rubik saves his life. And now the Underlord can rotate in with the ulti. The stolen Snapfire cookie means the Witch Doctor is eliminated. And now suddenly the entire team Bosnia is here to join on in.
They're just reacting faster across the map, and part of that is because they can with their global ultimates. But, well, the Snapfire's dead too. But in general, they're just reacting
the
faster.
Lich ult for that single little bit of extra nuke.
They're just playing faster on the side of Bosnia. How many times have they caught people with a lift mid-cookie? They've caught them with a gaze mid-cookie. Like, they're canceling these setup spells that are supposed to be coming out from Serbia to set up their plays. They're talking about setting up plays. They're trying to set one up right now.
I mean, this is a doomed Underlord. There's no way for him to escape this situation, or at least there shouldn't be. But just the Lich armor's enough. It's forcing the Slark to teleport out, but just at the last second, the Lich is able to bait him back in, denying the teleport, and now this Bloodseeker can start to run rampant. The Scatter Blast does plenty of damage, and the disarm from the Pugna Decrep will slow him down for a bit longer, but this Wolf is low. This Bloodseeker will try to hunt him down. The Ember to help out, get that finish, which means no heal for the Blood, but that's okay, because this Rubik can help harass the Snapfire, steal her spells to help with this exact chase, even hopping over the cliff to stay nearby. So it's nice harassment. The ult goes through, and with the Wolves blocking, even dedicating Snapfire ult with it, they finally get some revenge on this pesky Rubik.
Yeah, this Rubik's having a great game, dude. This Rubik is having a great game so far. He might be my MVP.
It's going to depend a lot in the future. There's a lot of these early fights that the Bloodseeker's been able to perform well, and this Ember Spirit on top of it has had no issues getting the recovery speeding ahead of the Snapfire now with just all the powers, as you mentioned. Intentionally just allowing him to be the little bit of a sacrificial lamb early, knowing the power that'll be able to create later on, and with the influence of those spells, able to come up with it.
And once they get this Aghanim Scepter up on this Ember Spirit, how are they actually going to get their hands on him? How do they actually intend to catch this Ember once he has this Aghanim Scepter? Like, he's just going to be zipping around the map, having a la-di-do all day. It's going to be obscene. As the play that almost was.
Speed multiplier. I mean, you can see how great this was supposed to be initially to get this Underlord, but he's able to walk away. The Slark gets denied the teleport out. The Rubik keeps him locked down for the Bloodseeker to finish. And as much as the Scatterblast eventually allowed for a double to be set up, I mean, this Bloodseeker Rubik has so much set up with them, especially with the Ember support going on through. Still, a little bit of kiting for this Bloodseeker. Might need a BKB to really nullify all those slows coming in. But other than that, no real problem for them to worry about. You see the Pugna trying to get the Bloodseeker will pay off before his untimely demise. So Serbia has something to look forward to with a massive hard carry pickoff.
Yep, no good deed goes unpunished. So they do lose both supports for that. But I think they got that kill on the Slark. They definitely got an Agi stack on the Slark. I think that's his first one of the game, unfortunately, if you're a fan of the Serbians. But it'll be okay.
And with the two supports going down there, it's about an equal trade. You can afford the cost to be able to get those benefits really broken through. But now hitting that 20-minute mark, being able to get a tier 1 off of it and heavy damage onto this tier 2 as that bottom lane's fully pushed on in, it's going to be a little bit more problematic. The Slark able to get away. The Underlord caught a little bit out of position, but of course with the Lich Armor should be able to escape, but the cast with the Pineapple Creeps denies his escape, so instead it'll be up to the Lich to dedicate the ult on the Slark to be able to capture the Witch Doctor. And now the Bloodseeker trying to hunt, but he doesn't have that true early damage just yet. Good life drain from the Pugna, and a good cookie denying that Rubik that's been so problematic this entire time.
Signs of life from the Serbians. Signs of life.
Yeah, understanding the power of some of these mid-game timings, the Diffusal Echo, now finished on the Slark.
Tower is under attack.
The Lycan having a bit more farm to be able to play around and support that Snapfire to have impact. Most importantly, that Pugna being able to get off those constant life drains, the slows and harassment to keep these heroes locked down. Or the good old side of Bosnia. Not allow them to freely run as they please. At least not yet.
Reminding me of Illidan's Storm Rage with his name, Bucktop Storm Rage. Oh man, I used to love watching Illidan play Dota.
Probably a good old reference and a nod to it. As you can see, that mobility of the Slark, he does have strengths against the Bloodseeker. Especially if that Rupture is unable to go off. You can see the Bloodseeker has the Rupture available the entire time, but not wanting to spend it. And having to use it late defensively. Instead, uses it on the Snapfire, which is happy to completely stand strong as a bulky turret with the Grandma riding on top of that dragon. Especially when you have a Pugna eating the last life essence required to stay alive during the process.
Right. Yeah, one of those fight me bro moments. That is going to be the first Tormentor of the game taken away. Going to give the Aghanim Shard to the Rubik. So they will have the defensive lift capabilities here. So that will be definitely nice. This Rubik's game has been on point so far.
And now we have that BKB I was talking about on the Bloodseeker.
The Radiant should really do something
So he's
about
not going to be
potential
held back in the same way, and they think it's an important enough timing that they can go for a smoke gank. We'll know all those illusions in play, completely fake, and that the real hero's got to be somewhere nearby. A little bit of vision indicating the hit. The early pop in, the Ember will get that initial root and the setup. Of course, the Pugna will be able to save him, but now the Snapfire has to run away with the Rupture. Decent damage, and the Switch Doctor's already caught out. The Pugna saving once again. This Pugna has been clutched multiple times now, keeping the Serbians alive.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Okay, now's the go. Now's the go. You can see they're making the play on the map. Now is a go.
But now the other defense is coming in. The Rubik able to force staff and Cookie, but the Slark has too much chase, still able to take him down. And now the Harpoon on the Lycan, ensuring that they can chunk down this Underlord. Takes a bit of time, but this Pugna is a godsend once again. Just so much slow and lockdown, disabling the right clicks, and just providing constant long-range slow and harass.
Oh, that's not good for the Radiant.
Well as impossible amounts of save able to heal his team.
Yeah, that was a perfect moment for a fight, dude. So the Slark, he was pushing down bottom, forced the Bloodseeker to react and TP down bottom, and as soon as he does, that's when they start running back up towards the mid lane. Everybody that was in the mid lane starts running down towards the river, so we can take this engagement. It's power play Dota at its finest. That was beautifully executed by the side of Serbia, and that is how you take a rough game of Dota and swing it into your favor. They're up 5k on the net worth now, even though they're trailing behind by 4 kills. They are just chilling. They are happy with the way that they're manipulating the map. They are happy with the way that their heroes are starting to progress through itemization timings, and they are happy with the state of this game.
And I'm not happy how Rinmai is prioritizing this Rupture. Trying to lock down the Snapfire isn't going to do much in these team fights, especially with the Pugna nearby, isolating the wrong target. Need to deal with these squishy supports like this Pugna that would be so problematic, but instead he has to lock in on this Slark, getting leashed through. The stolen life drain from the Rubik will give at least a little bit of survivability, but eventually the BKB has been spent. He'll be taken down, and now the Lycan can try to dive this tier 4 with the Universal, but the Wolves with the Mantas barely able to be enough, even with the Soul and Pugna hold being used.
I call it a Spirit Siphon, it's life drain. They're the same spell, damn it.
Unless you're me and completely soulless Ginger. No spirit to steal. However, you can steal away a tier 2 with all those wolves, the Manta illusions. And suddenly these multiple universal heroes have caused so much damage and tankiness to snowball through. And this entire game, as flashy it is from the cores, the entire reason they have all this space and survivability is because the Pugna keeps getting them out of dodge every single time they get put into danger.
Yeah, this Pugna's had a great game. He's playing a great video game right now.
He's given the lockdown to pick off the Ember and the Bloodseeker once or twice. He's saved the Snapfire's life at least 3 times now.
Yeah, here's that engagement. They tried so many times to kill this Witch Doctor, and all the while, like, we have everybody else just kind of roaming around, setting up, finding their angle to initiate, and doing everything that they want to do. And while they're expending spells, oh, the Lycan potentially caught out, trying to shapeshift, run away. Looks like he might be able to do so. Chain Frost is going to connect. Oh, Sinister Gaze is there. Onto the Lycan. Mechanism comes out for the Lich, keeping him alive. Stolen Shapeshift for Romkey.
Yeah, but again, this Bloodseeker keeps using his ult on targets. I mean, it does capitalize well off the Witch Doctor, and they do find the Lycan as well with it, but they are significantly playing the back foot as the Slark obtains another tier 2 tower. Now the Pugna and Sapphire rotated in. I don't know about that engagement because of that Axe Ember. The chase can go through. This Pugna will be isolated out, a good read from
The Radiant's bottom tower
Vita to
has seen
know
better
where
days.
he's gone.
Yeah.
Trying to back away, and this
Yeah.
is this
On
is
the
as
Lich.
good as dead as Lich.
I think
Oh,
Or
the
staff.
hop over. Nice kiting, and now a rupture on the Slark. This is one you want to land. He's going to be forced to teleport back entirely and leave, which means the Snapfire's in a bit of a dangerous position, able to escape for the moment. Slave Hand able to confirm her position.
Oh god, that's ballsy. Friends in the area though. Friends in the area though.
There's the BKB. Trying to force it out. The Pugna ult, the Witch Doctor used. The Underlord just tanking the hits the best he can, but eventually the Bloodseeker has to teleport out, and the Slark has had plenty of time to regenerate and come back from the fight. And the Ag Shard, the only reason the Rubik's able to live on. Again, this Bloodseeker is the complete and total answer for everything on the Serbian team, or at least it would have been. But it would appear that the Rubik's not a good enough answer to this Pugna, and there's no one else that can find a solution to all this HP and healing that he's providing. Eventually, this Bloodseeker wants to be able to get the relative Scotty to stop all this damage that's been going through, but he won't be able to go for that anytime soon. As now we have the Bloodseeker dead for 50, high ground being assaulted, Ember getting shut down. This Ice Armor is causing support, but it's not nearly enough. Now BKB Snap getting that right click damage in, soon to get that level 20.
Like
So
just
that
hitting objectives down bottom.
Deadlier.
No Bloodseeker for 20, so they feel like they can live in the base.
And why shouldn't they be able to? They got this Pugna that I'm pretty sure has the Tranquil Boots, probably has the Ether Lens as well, just constantly healing anyone on the front line.
I think you back up now.
Been able to get enough damage in, the full team Bosnia back up. But now they're significantly left on the back foot. A lot of key fights in that early mid game at about the 20-minute mark. It really just boils back down to that Pugna able to allow all those early team fights to be won, giving all this gold and XP away for Serbia to be able to profit off of. And now they're reaping in the full rewards of that advantage. As I feel like the Bosnians might have let this slip a little bit too far away from them, unless they can find a way to deal with this Pugna.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't know, because the Pugna's positioning has been super good as well. If the fight's on the high ground, he's on the low ground. If it's on the low ground, he's on the high ground, staying hidden, staying in fog, making sure that he has those Spirit Siphons coming out, as we do see the Snapfire should die.
Yeah, but again, just so tanky, being that universal hero. Now the rotations can come in. They'll have to sacrifice the Lich for that Snapfire trade. It'll give him plenty of gold, though. The Rubik and the Pugna trying to trade life drains on each other. Eventually, the Harpoon support from the Lycan will come on in. They tip each other as they put themselves in that very amusing life drain situation. Buyback starting to be forced out from the Bosnians to try to defend this base. There's still a Pugna on the loose, and there's no Rupture available for quite a while. It gets even harder with the Lincolns now in play. I don't know exactly who it's on, or if it was just actually on the Lycan, or just applied to him. But Lincoln's hard counters this draft pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they do have some ways to pop Lincolns. They've got Fade Bolt, they've got Lift, they've got Sinister Gaze, Frost Blast. But, and of course Rupture, but you don't want to be... That's the one spell that you don't want to be using to pop the Lincolns, so...
Yeah, they have plenty of better ways to pop it. But I think it's entirely a goal of targeting the wrong heroes. Yeah, look at that. Damage dealt. The Pugna's right there with the Snapfire. The Slark still isn't really getting that much damage in. Just taking out the stats. Fantastic timing on the escape. The Ember ensuring that he gets away safely. No Sunlock Nightmare from the Glepner. Able to get away, no glaring offense. And a Nullifier being planned by the Slark. An interesting move.
Oh, holy win
I
probability.
wonder what the point of it is. Yeah, I mean, it felt like it was in the lead for Team Bosnia, but ever since they started losing those 20-minute fights, it was all downhill. This Pugna is single-handedly winning them the game at the moment.
Yeah. Pugna's a very good support right now.
Oh, he's got the Eye of Vizier and the Ether Lens.
Cast range for days.
This dude's a cast range sniper. That's terrifying.
Slaps trunk a car. I can fit so much cast range in this baby.
Absolutely you can.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Souls ever reaching from the deep. And that provides all this lockdown again for the Bloodseeker. Where I feel like half the concern is going to be just all the magical damage mostly that's coming out. Sure, there's some nice physical from the Snapfire as well. But I don't know how much this Butterfly is actually going to help the Bloodseeker. I almost feel like just another Dispel of some sorts might be more effective. Especially considering the Nullifier's now been picked up on the Slark. But he'll have to adjust that later on because for now, he's getting shut down with the good old Harpoon. Meanwhile, there is a team fight mid. They are split quite a bit. As they do slide a pick off on the Witch Doctor with the Slark able to take out that Rubik. Dead for 70. I believe that's technically considered a dieback in this situation. He's one of the key solutions that should be able to deal with this Pugna puzzle that now has a hex to his name. Glitch immediately deleted. There's just too much damage. They've snowballed this too far out of control. Little help from them at this point. They're gonna buy back to try to find something to get their way into this. But soon to lose the second lane of Rax. Ember Spear is rooted, hacked, stunned, disabled, and by the time he can get back up and breathing, he's already gone. And they understand that this game is done.
Yeah, 33k, 36 minutes into the game. This game, Fat Lady, she's singing. This game definitely, it feels like it's on its descending motion here. They might try to hold out for one more smoke out of the base. Try to make some sort of desperation play, see if that can't put them back into the game. But for now, the Serbs, they're living inside the base, and if they get their hands on this Bloodseeker and bring him down, that would be the game. Yeah, well, no, he has buyback, so there is still hope. He has buyback.
But even with the buyback, you have the Rubik almost getting 3-shot, trying to live with the deep prep, but it instead leads to his demise. The Snapfire ult kills them both, and now they're forced to save the more proper and official GG. And with these two Universal heroes plus the Slark, even with the rough start, all it takes is some nice team fights with that Pugna, and then suddenly the amount of damage coming out from these cores is absolutely insane, and the Serbians able to completely shut out all opponents. No issues at all with the Bosnians to completely eradicate them in that game number 1, and just a proper outplay and understanding their win conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the game did not start out easy for them at all. I mean, they had a good lane in the Snapfire lane, but the Slark lane, I feel like that lane suffered a little bit, and so did the Lycan lane. So they came out one lane ahead, 2 lanes behind. So this game was not really easy at all. It just kind of came down to map awareness. The one thing that really kind of sticks out in my mind was that play where the Slark was pushing bottom, forced the Bloodseeker to react and TP bottom, and then as soon as he did, the Slark beelines mid. All the heroes, they beeline down towards the river, take this fight 4v5, and then from there on, that gave them the net worth advantage. They never let the net worth advantage up after that point in time, and they just controlled the game. Slow, methodical, choke out Dota, just doing the things that we're supposed to do, and not really taking the bait, not diving under towers, not letting silly things happen, keeping their wits about them. And this is exactly the kind of stuff that I was expecting with the TI captain. I mean, you know, sure, he was just there with Hellraisers and whatever you want to say about it. They didn't have great results at TI, whatever. They were still good enough to make it to TI, which is an incredible feat in and of itself.
Yeah, certainly, and I must give MVP. I'm gonna give some credit to the Snapfire, able to get in all of that good old hero damage, as she was the one getting targeted, ruptured the entire time, but thanks to that Pugna being such a problem, stats say that she was a game changer, able to really create the space and constantly pump out that damage. One of the two universal heroes set up, and as underwhelming as the Lycan was as like a single-handed hard carry, when you set him up in this off lane, he's able to freely get the farm he needs to create some space. You have the Snapfire with it. You have so much raw damage and scaling. It doesn't matter if your Slark's just really there for the show at that point. You just have so much raw damage between the two, and then the Pugna with the Witch Doctor to create the space and sustain. It's a little bit too strong of a combo.
Yeah, they definitely, it proved to be too strong for Bosnia to handle. That's for sure. So it's back to the drawing board for them. Hopefully they can come out with something else in game number 2 so that we can get a game number 3. Trev, we have yet to get a game number 3 since we started casting together. So I would love to get one in today. We'll have to see if the gods will give it to us or not. But yeah, I'm pulling for Bosnia in this game number 2. Hopefully they can be able to pull up what I would consider to be the upset, take the win over Serbia, and push us to a game number 3.
Yeah, there's a good situation. The plays overall are solid and on point. The ideas, the mythology, it's all there, equal on the playing field, as well as the skill levels. So it should be a competitive series, I have to say, even if it gets closed down on 2. But we'll have to see. I'm able to benefit with still having power, so that's good to see, and Storm's starting to settle down. So I should have a stable connection, all things hopefully held aside. But of course, we will be able to connect you with a short little break before we go underway with game number 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. A very exciting game one. Some twists and turns, some nice surprises. The Serbian side able to find their way on top, at least for game number one.
Yep. Game number one going the way of Serbia. Behind that Pugna play, really. I mean, the Slarky had a good game. The Snapfire had a good game. But, yeah, that Pugna keeping heroes alive in team fights, being annoying from the outsides, from the outskirts, adding some additional pushing power with the Nether Blast. Personally, I think Pugna was the MVP. I know production gave MVP to the Snapfire, but I don't know. I like that Pugna hero. But we are going to go ahead and get into draft number 2, game number 2. And the bands are already switching it up. Bosnia, they're getting rid of that Lycan.
Radiant team
Going to get rid of the Lycan they just played is an interesting choice to make, and the Pugna. This feels like the band Serbia would want to go for,
Dire team pick.
unless I'm entirely crazy and mistaken. It'd be interesting to see them completely ban what felt like the most impactful heroes from their last game,
Radiant team.
but maybe that's why, because they wanted to let in the Wind Ranger, and we're going to get a bit of Techies fun too.
Oh, snap. This Techies hero, man, he's so good right now. I'm a Techies hater. I'm a well-known Techies hater. I absolutely detest this hero, or I did. Now he's a real hero, and he's actually pretty good. He's pretty strong. So I even picked this hero in my amateur leagues and stuff like that. So I guess I am a recovered Techies hater. Now he is a Dota 2 hero. He's not just some clown in the game. So not mad to see this hero in the game, and they're gonna go ahead and pick up the Bat Rider as well.
I feel like
Although
we
I
still have
think-
enough good old clowns to use, so
Dire team ban.
losing
Yeah,
one, I'd say, is just fine.
Techies didn't deserve to be in this video game up until now.
Radiant team ban.
Now he belongs in the game.
Yeah, he's always part of the game, but it was one of those things that definitely deserved a bit of rework and polishing when the time came for such a thing. It's refreshing to have. But it's
Getting
good
rid
to
of
see
the
him at all.
Oracle makes sense. The Oracle is a
10 seconds.
natural counter to the Bat Rider. Also able to stop the magic damage coming out from the sticky bombs is from the Techies kit as well. So good ban there. And for Bosnia, they're going to continue to ban out some of these universal heroes, get rid of the Magnus. The Magnus, I feel like we have seen it either banned or picked in almost every single game that you and I have worked together here on IESF.
Yeah, certainly. It hasn't felt like the most thrilling character to see. Most of the time, I feel like it's ended up being quite disappointing. If I'm
not
entirely honest.
It's possible that the nerfs hurt him a little bit harder than people have realized just yet. I think I've played one game with him since the nerfs, and I honestly can't remember how it felt. But, you know, I think largely it still felt like Magnus doing Magnus things, but there's up here the minor tweaks, they make a huge difference because every little change, every little difference is huge. It's magnified up here in the higher ranks. So I might be able to get away with playing Magnus there in ways that they're not able to get away with playing Magnus here. So that's definitely possible as a potential reason why the Magnus has felt a little bit flat here in the 12K ranks. But well, I don't know. Maybe this is more like 10K, 9K ranks. I'm not really sure. A lot of these players, they're not like official like pros, I guess, for lack of better words. I don't know what the appropriate terminology would be. I don't mean that as flame. I just mean that they're not all mind control in S4.
Radiant team ban.
Yeah, they're not the most like renowned or
Ban.
often seen players necessarily. But I feel like we already have an interesting start considering we have a lot of the standard meta banned heroes removed or being picked instead this time. I would say the next mystery perhaps to throw in there
5
has to
seconds
do
remaining.
with the good old fact that we have this thing called Broodmother. If you want to talk about
Yeah.
your annoying cheese that it's not as cheesy back.
As I do think that the Brood Mama, she might be back. To my understanding, she might be good again.
Radiant.
I don't know.
Oh,
I've not seen her
certainly.
since the patch, but
Yeah, that universal scaling just allows her to be good in all stages of the game, alongside with that ultimate that she has, and piece everything together. So it's something that can possibly come through. I had a small power flash. Turns out the storms are back, and we got to be rather scared. Going
dude, I
forward.
thought I saw something. I thought I saw your power flash, but I thought it was just like a Discord bug
It
for a second.
was only enough for my main monitor, at least. Thankfully,
Okay.
we're still fine for now. We're holding
Okay.
on.
10 seconds remaining.
Fingers crossed. Maybe knock on some wood over there. I'll knock on some wood over here.
5 seconds remaining.
A bit of a support classic of the CM. I feel like I don't see her a lot in the meta situations. Works well to get that early momentum on, say, a Juggernaut, for example.
Sure.
Would be more reason to see the Weaver being brought out too.
Tide Hunter.
But instead focusing
Yay!
a little bit more meta, getting your Watermelon out.
Yay! So excited to see my watermelon boy in the game.
Works great to have the Ravage with the Wind Ranger as well.
10 seconds remaining.
Gives us
Yep.
real control to give her a free moment to either line up the Shackle Shot or just go in with the Focus Fire. And same with the Disruptor.
Yeah, they've got lots of team fight for Bosnia right now. And there's that Juggernaut pick that you were talking about as well.
The second I saw the CM, like, there's only one reason you'd ever pick this hero at the moment, and that's because you're trying to get the root to use with the Jug and the Blade Dance to abuse early. And when you have the Weaver and Slark Band, it's because you don't want these heroes that can completely counteract the Jug through the abuse and kiting, can deal and be durable against the CM and deal with that offlane early. The Tidehunter and Rubik can't really have that same pleasure and enjoyment, as the Rubik has no way to deal with the Jug, especially early. Can eventually
Right.
get people out of danger using that shard, of course, but for right now, it's going to be rough in the early laning, and unless this Tidehunter goes heavy into Kraken Shell, which even then still, it won't help that much. It's going to be a rough
Yeah.
time, and you can see the focus getting out all these carries that would hard counter the Juggernaut, like the Void, like the Weaver, and it's completely cutting out any options from Bosnia, I feel.
Yeah, I feel like the Tide just starts not Helm of the Dominator, but Hod and or Hood rather. And that just helps to deal with a lot of this magic damage that's coming out. Eventually he built it up into Pipe to help his team deal with all the magic damage that's coming out. And that should help to give him some extra survivability in the lane to deal with this spin to win combo that they're going to have, as well as the Kraken Shell can purge off the Frostbite. So it's more, I feel like the Rubik is more the hero that is going to be at risk for the Frostbite spin combo, because he has no way to deal with that at all.
There is one thing in danger of being brought out,
Team pick.
the Morphling,
Anti-mage.
but deciding to go for the AM. Morphling's very
Okay.
meta at the moment and completely would hard counter this Jug CM shenanigans. So to not see him brought out is worrying. I guess the AM can go toe-to-toe, and having the Wind Ranger
10
with
seconds
you is
remaining.
nice. But I'm certainly not
5
thrilled
seconds
for this pick and setup. You're trying to play a balanced game where both these teams have been clearly neck and neck, and you can still flex this Bat Rider as a mid to likely punish the Wind Ranger if you wish. We could see an offlaner momentarily.
Yeah, I think my expectation is that we'll see an offlaner here. I could be very off base with that, but
I'm with you.
I just don't think the Bat Rider will necessarily have a very good lane dealing with this anti-mage, and they're gonna agree with me. Pick up the Axe hero instead. Hero that can cut waves, hero that doesn't necessarily care if he has mana or not. Can build Soul Ring, so he'll always have the mana to get the Blink call play happening. And they're
And
just
then
doubling
easy-
down on this spin to win. Is this 6.84 again? What's going on? We're one Troll Warlord away of being stuck in 6.84 again.
I mean, certainly the spin's there. I mean, it has all the pure damage, doesn't care about any of that Wind Ranger evasion or cheese to get out of those things, provides all that lockdown necessary. And you have to put faith that your Jug's able to fight the AM man-to-man. Of course, a little bit of damage danger with that spell reflect. To lose matches in the process due to it. But generally, when you have things like the Bat Rider and Techies to help give that necessary lockdown, I don't even think the AM can save himself from just the danger of the Nico Techies.
Yeah, there's definitely some things out here that can kind of ruin this anti-mage's game. He's going to have quick fingers. He's going to have his head on a swivel the entire match. But yeah, the thing that I mean, they do have some high mana pool heroes. So if he's able to get off to a good start and he's able to get going, he does have some heroes, good heroes for mana void targets, stuff like that. And they have good ways to deal with some of the fight. They have great team fight for that side as well. But I'm just not 100% positive that Anti-Mage was the hero that was needed to put the bow on it and make this a winning draft. We'll have to see how it goes, how it all plays out. But I think, again, I'm going to go with players over drafts, and I'm going to go with Serbia.
Yeah, that's a fair thing to do. I think Serbia has been able to get away with a rather unpunished Juggernaut pick. It was pretty clear the second the CM was brought out that this was going to be the situation they're going for. And I really don't think AM's the answer to this when we have Morphling being one of the top meta carries over the past few days. And this is one of the best matchups for a Morphling traditionally. Now, the Axe makes it a little bit funkier, of course, but you could have been planning around and banning for it, of course.
No. Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes. Maybe it was just like a lack of comfort, lack of familiarity with the Morphling, something like that. Maybe they had it in their mind that this wasn't going to be, that this was going to be a mid-bat rider, so they didn't want to naked pick the Morphling and into what was going to be an off-lane hero and then get countered pretty hard. There's a couple of reasons why they maybe decided to go with the anti-mage. Maybe felt like it was a little bit of a safer pick. Maybe it would just fit a little bit nicer into their comfort, but yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not super sold. I couldn't tell you the last time that I saw an anti-mage win a game of Dota 2. So yeah, we're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see what he has in his bag of tricks.
I mean, I certainly can. I would say that he's a pretty effective core at the moment. It's not like he's bad by any metrics or anything like that. But this anti-mage is not really designed to go up against a Juggernaut. If they can have a decent time, it's a pretty fair, solid 50-50 fight.
I'll give them a drubbing.
But even then, still, you're relying on this execution of this Tidehunter and this Wind Ranger to create all the necessary space. And this Jug wants to go for the early fighting, meanwhile the AM wants to farm. Normally it would be the same with the Jug, but the entire point of the CM is to have this fast momentum, building that Battle Fury as quick as possible and using it just to fight even more rather than strictly farm as required. So it's dangerous, especially with an axe on the table. Can't spell reflect the axe.
Right.
When you can combine that lockdown immediately into the blast off, no issue. The lasso if required.
Yeah, they have chain play potential on the side of Serbia, but they have chain play potential on the side of Bosnia and Herzegovina as well. You know, we can Ravage, follow it up with a good Static Storm, or vice versa. We have, you know, the Glimpse drag back and set up for the Shackle Shot into Lift drag back. We have, you know, there are plays that can be made for the side of Bosnia and Herzegovina. I think a lot of this game is going to rely on the wind and the tide. They both have to have good lanes. They have to come out and be able to make space for this anti-mage because he's not going to want to play a part of this game until like 25, 30 minutes, sometimes even later.
Yeah, and the execution demands for them are a lot more difficult, relying on stuff like trees or just the Ravage being caught with no surprise so BKBs don't come out, or a blade spin in terms of the Jug. Meanwhile, the Axe able to blink instantly, get that
this would be a good start.
Off. The blast off can get that surprise. A nice pickup on the CM, but of course that blood grenade is going to provide the necessary slow with how powerful of an item it is at the moment. The Jug will be able to profit, get that early pick off in response. Of course, gets the gold on the techies instead, but I don't think anyone is going to be complaining about that. At least not yet on Team Serbia.
Yeah, able to get another kill here in this bottom lane. Oh no, Anti-Mage is dying up top as well.
Oh, they got both of them top. This is devastating. 4 kills going their way is going to give the early gold in the build-up. This Axis can be very hellish in lane to deal with, especially early on. And if he gets those early levels, he's going to get that Vanguard too. Able to start cutting those creep waves in the classic fashion. And Bad Rider, again, destroys Wind Ranger. Almost dying there, being forced to sit out of the lane to get those stacks taken off of her.
Looking good for Serbia early. Looking really good for Serbia early.
Meanwhile,
no.
that's another taunt.
no.
The techie's right click going on through. Thankfully level 2, so he does have the blink now to be able to get away.
Thank you.
Had the
But
blink,
already
had the
being
glimpse.
have to spend all that regen. Will really burn down the Disruptor's pockets. It's now the Wind Ranger getting tagged down once again. Takes a little bit of tower damage, so we'll end up a little bit more equal in that trade, but the Spat Rider is going to keep up this lane domination all day with not a problem. Looks like we got a bit of a call on the Axe. The blast off's a bit late. Anti-Mage still alive, fortunately, able to get away. But mere moments from death, and he's brought back as low as he once started. And this is exactly what I was afraid of, the fact that these Serbians are going to have such strong, dominant lanes, able to effectively get off an outdraft, and this AM, I don't know how he's supposed to answer all this aggression early.
Yeah, and this was my concern about the AM pick. Is he's not going to come out of lanes ahead. And he's going to need to recover farm. So really, we're looking at like 30-35 minutes before this Anti-Mage is ready to play the game of Dota 2. And what is their map going to look like by that time when he's ready to actually start participating? This Axe is on pace. He's going to get like a 6-minute Vanguard.
Yeah, this is absolutely terrifying. The blood grenade and the movement slow. The Tidehunter are still able to get away. He does have those
Yeah, I think
brown
Kraken
boots.
Shell purged it.
True enough, purged. Get that save. I always forget that it does that. It's not just a really nice damage block. It has the other benefits as well. But he still has to back away, going all the way to base, it seems. Looking to just try to block the creeps from the start. And the Spat Rider getting a little bit too greedy. Still able to get the Wind Ranger in the process, so it's going to be a nice trade. Disruptor able to secure it, but at what cost, as this Axe has that Vanguard I was talking about. Doesn't care about the tower with all the armor and health that he has this early. You start trying to chip down these creeps. Immediate taunt. The techies is nowhere nearby, so he'll be okay. But you can see just level 2 on the swinging axes, and 2 swings, and the Anti-Mage's health disappears. Once this Axe gets the shard later on, that usually Axes don't get, and I have a feeling this game will be no exception. With a nice blast off in mind. Of course, doesn't care about that spell reflect. The last right click almost coming on in. Anti-Mage will be able to live, but with 50 health, likely having to go back to base And this Disruptor has spent so much time trying to help the Wind Ranger. All for naught. As Bora takes him down once again. I have no idea what anyone is supposed to do in this situation.
Ooh, we're 6 on Axe already. Yikes.
Dire's
Top tower is doing its best, but it doesn't look good.
Just to put it in scale for you guys at home, the Tide Hunter is level 3 compared to the Axe, who is level 6.
To hurt.
If that just goes to show the way that these lanes are going.
Yeah, and it's only going to go from bad to worse with the spin to win coming on in. Not enough to get the kill on its own. Need that sticky bomb to be able to glue that Rubik onto place. And now you have the Spat Rider ignoring both the Disruptor and the Wind Ranger, perfectly kiting the power shot, cutting the creep wave in the process, melting that mid tower, while the Axe is doing the exact same thing towards top. Not a single problem. And the Wisdom Rune being stolen by the Juggernaut. There is
this Rubik is
absolutely
level 2.
nothing going in their way.
This Rubik is level 2.
And he won't be getting level 3 anytime soon. One benefit, the Tidehunter able to get some nice damage on the CM, but certainly very far away from a kill. But considering there's like 3 creep waves going at her now, she's got to keep on running, which CMs are infamously terrible at. If it wasn't for the fact that it was nighttime to help her out, get that proper movement speed and escape.
She's as swift as the Wolves of Ice Rack, okay?
Yeah,
Firefly,
hopefully
trying
they're
to get himself to safety.
speedier with their brains than their feet. As a beautiful blast off comes in. That's the Wind Ranger dead once again.
Oh god, this Axe is just having a free game, dude.
This is just a nightmare of a situation. I have no idea how they're supposed to deal with this. This is absolute domination. Getting the CM would be nice, but the... Oh, off the cliff. He's going to kill the Rubik and lock down the Wind Ranger. Able to eventually get the power shot off, but at what cost? Maybe even if the Disruptor gets away, the Wind Ranger's removed as well. The Axe Call could come in any second as the AM gets whacked down. Cold away. Removed. There's not a single lane finding any success at all.
No, this is a 3-lane win. Win 3 lanes, win the game. Up 6k, 9 minutes in. This is a huge lead for the side of Serbia right now in this video game. 13-3. It is a struggle bus. What we need to do, we have to find a way to get some levels on our heroes, as Romkey potentially going to get walked down. Anti-Mage going to TP in. Now we're going to bring bodies. This is what we needed. Nikolika with a good blast off. Anti-Mage being brought down very low. Rubik dies. Okay, so we do get the kill. No, we lose our anti-mage hero.
Once again, picked off. They've been able to get a kill on this Bat Rider, which is a pretty big deal. And they're getting a decent amount of gold from the CM with how early it is. And the techies with it getting caught out of position, making a few mistakes.
Yeah,
These team fights able to benefit a little bit of the situation, but again, comes with a cost. The Wind Ranger goes back to mid. This Axe blinks in, gets the call, takes her down.
middle tower is under
Yeah,
attack.
it's blink
Mid tower
reveal on the
likely
Axe.
soon to take with it.
Dude, that's 10-minute Arcane Boots, Blink, Vanguard.
Oh. A nice Dispel, able to free the Tide. To keep him alive, but of course the Blink tries pull with the Blade Mail, or Blade Spin rather. The Fury, unstoppable. This Wind Ranger running away from a Juggernaut that normally she would be able to counter because of how dominant this has been for the Serbians. And no exception in this situation, as this axe is so well fed, can keep spinning, taking those hits from the tower to let him get those pulls. 4 permanent armor salvaged by him so far. Soon to make it 5. As he gets that next one in. A nice ravage from the Tidehunter with the AM to rotate through, but I don't think it's going to be enough damage for the Juggernaut as he gets away.
That would have been so huge. No, it would have been so big if they were able to get that kill on the Jug.
Action continuing. We can go through the replays. And look at this. It's been 2 minutes since the last situation. They went from 13 to 20 kills in about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that this is only going to accelerate faster and faster. As this is with a Juggernaut that, because of how low the time's been, I think is just now starting to finish the Battle Fury. And even still, we're talking an 11-12 minute Battle Fury. That's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, he's still getting a very fast time for the Battle Fury. 3-man smoke up.
1,500 net worth above the AM.
Yep.
Lead growing.
AM is having a sad time.
Smoke
This
gang,
win's
that's
gonna
a
have
dead
a sad
winner.
time too.
Taking quite a bit to kill her. But still taken out once again, and they found this Rubik. Still level 4, can't even spell steal to try to get away. The Disruptor will be able to provide a bit of save. Does have a nice bit of XP, but now the Axe comes in to Cole once again. Create all this space, and this is why I was so worried about this AM. They have no early fighting. They have no way to defend, and it's only going from bad to worse as 20 becomes 23. Soon to be 24. As much as the wand charges help give some protection, it doesn't matter. This Axe is running rampant and having the freest game of his life, and now this Juggernaut with the Battle Fury farming a couple of ancient stacks using that healing ward, completely snowballing away from this AM. Very lucky on the shackle shot, but it still won't be enough as the Bad Rider and Techies provides enough lockdown.
I say the win probability is like 90-95%. Can we see the Ice Frog index, please? Yikes. 92. 92%. 13 minutes, 14 minutes into this video game. They're just not even getting to play Dota or Bosnia.
Yeah, when the AM isn't able to do the one thing he wants to do in farm, you know it's a nightmare game. He's having to go for the dire ancient stacks and not much else at the moment.
You see, I feel like the bigger deal is the fact that the Tide and the Wind are not getting a game of Dota, right? Because like the anti-mage, he's supposed to be farming at this current point in time. He's not supposed to be active on the map right now. Like maybe if somebody's out of place and he's able to get a quick kill real quick, pop somebody with a mana void, then go back to farming, great, yeah, awesome. But you don't really want him showing up to fights at this current point in time, 15 minutes into the video game. What you want is you want your Tide, you want to be able to move as this 4-man unit with the Tide, the Wind, the Rubik, and the Disruptor, and make plays happen that way, find kills that way, create space that way. And instead, they're just absolutely getting their face pushed into the mud right now. They are getting mollywopped in this game.
Oh, and they caught the AM again. Farm denied, unable to get any of that space. He's at 25 armor at 15 minutes.
That's ridiculous.
This Wind Ranger will not be able to do anything other than tickle him at this point.
And he's got the blade mail, so she doesn't want to be focus firing the axe anyways.
This Techies has more farm than the Wind Ranger and the Tidehunter.
Yeah.
has almost as much net worth as the two supports for Bosnia combined.
This game is getting late very, very early for the side of Bosnia. Like,
And
this
this
is the
Bat
kind of
Rider's
game.
going boot to travel as well as the Octarine early on top of this.
Yeah, this is the kind of game where, like, I don't even want to play anymore at this point in time in this game. Like, I'm talking about, like, I'm thinking about GG and out. But, like, because this game is just impossibly hard. Maybe
You're
they
hoping your
finally
opponents
crystal
make
made it
some
and get a
terrible
kill.
mistakes. Yeah, the Rubik able to ensure that the CM doesn't get the full ult off. But it comes with a cost, as this Axe shall be getting another Culling Blade. Now at 11 and 1. 13 armor harvested by the Culling Blade currently. Which again, I mean, this Wind Ranger, sure, she'll get a Maelstrom to try to respond, but by the time she gets the Maelstrom, this Bat Rider already has the Boots of Travels, the Octarine. Sure, he's caught out alone on the map, but that really doesn't matter when it's a 13k lead at 16 minutes.
Under attack.
I mean, a 30k lead at 30 minutes, we've seen that all the time, but to do half that net worth lead in half the time is far more difficult, and Serbians are doing it with not a single issue.
No, I mean, this is a huge lead. I cannot stress enough how big of a lead this is. This is an absolutely huge, dominant, commanding lead for the Serbians here 17 minutes into this game. Like, this game is not even close right now. They're going to try to make plays still. They're going to still try to get out on the map, do things. As that's going to be an Omni/kill of the Disruptor. They find out the anti-mage. Can they chain lock him down? It looks like they can. There's the dunk. Bye-bye,
AM
Regina.
can't solo kill a CM at the 17-minute mark. That's the sort of state we're working with. As we get a beautiful blast off the stall, get that stun, and now you have the Axe Call to follow. The Rubik doing his best to try to delay it, but all it does is delay the inevitable as the Jug and the Axe come in. Now probably at 15 armor harvested, if not more.
I wouldn't be surprised if they call it soon, dude. Honestly, like...
Dire's middle tower is all alone in the world. Beam attack.
I mean, this Jug's getting the damage in with the Omni Slash, but feels like he doesn't... He's using it more because he can, rather than he has to.
No harms to defend yourself.
Oh.
Yeah.
You got
There's
the full
absolutely no
solar
stress in
crest
this game.
being provided to him by the techies, I would presume.
Now he's going
Making him just that much
butterfly.
tankier.
Nobody wants to build MKB. Nobody really wants to deal. I mean, Wynn can build MKB, I suppose, but she's going to be a long way away from getting that MKB. And yeah, as the Disruptor just going to get spun down, maybe. Nah, not going to go high ground. We're not that aggro. We are going to lasso the Windrunner, drag her back. Good Ravage, connects onto 4. This is potential. This is a chance to turn this play around, but the Windrunner's going to fall first. And we're still not able to get our hands onto this damn Crystal Maiden. Mana Void, not enough. Not enough damage. As no, this is a disaster. Now we're going to walk up onto the high ground, the Tidehunter. We got a high five with the tower. Just slapping away at him.
It just gone too far away.
It is gone too far away indeed, and GG's going to be
game.
called 19 minutes in. I'm glad that they did call it a little bit early, because I would have felt like I was like bullying them for saying that they should GG early. But yeah, man, that game, talk about getting bullied. Serbia just bullied Bosnia there.
And some of those pickoffs just didn't matter. The snowball was too strong, and they really weren't designed to punish this Juggernaut CM pick that was very clearly telegraphed at them. And you add on top of that the fact that this Bat Rider totally is one of these insane universal heroes, one of the few that can match up against the overpowered Wind Ranger. And that lane went about as well as you'd expect for her, understandably.
Yeah.
And then you give out this AM pick early when you know there's a Jug on the enemy team. And they're like, well, let's just bring out an Axe and you're doomed. Don't even need to bring out one of these traditional root heroes you would go for, like the Troll or something like that. Or even the Lone Druid to try to lock him down. You don't need to make any of those wild plays. Just bring out the Axe and get it done.
Yeah.
In less than 20 minutes.
Now we're gonna cut to our MVP. Drum roll. Oh, in a second we'll be cutting to our MVP. I think it's the Axe. I think it's the Axe that's gonna win the MVP. Dude just dominated the entire game.
That's a fair one to give it to. And it will end up being that Axe exactly. 15-1, dropping more hero damage than net worth. Doing that
Yeah.
legendary statistic that we rarely see get even close normally.
That is a big yikers on Rikers, dude. I mean, this Axe, what? I think it was a 9-minute Blink Vanguard Arcane Boots. This dude just had a free lane. He had a free game. He killed with at will, with ease. He just Axe hacks, man. He just did the thing. He just did the damn thing today, man. This Axe hero, this Axe player, incredible.
He turned this best of 3 into a speed run. That was shocking, especially with how competitive game 1 was. I have to say that they got outplayed in the drafting phase in every single lane. Mistakes that even I was able to like notice and isolate and make calls towards, to be able to point out what was going on. I expected it to be more like 25 minutes. I wasn't expecting it to be this crazy, but
Sure.
they knew how to play around these advantages and capitalize on it to a T.
Yeah, no, they definitely they did exactly that. They realized that they were the strongest team on the map. They realized that they had the power in their hands. They used that power. They wielded it mightily, and it got them more power. Shocker. When you're strong enough to kill heroes without regard of your own heroes dying, then suddenly next thing you know, that 1k net worth goes to 5k, then 5k goes to 10k, 10k to 15k, and then it's 19 minutes in the game and you're up 16k net worth, and suddenly this barely feels like a game of Dota. It's a breeze. It's a walk through the park.
I mean,
you're just playing a bot match.
Dota barely feels like Dota at the moment. It like last hitting really isn't that important in lane anymore at all. Especially if you can get the kills, it has so much more influence. And once you get those kills, the momentum going, if your opponent isn't able to get those kills in turn, you have to get multiple kills in reply to any kills made. You can't reverse that snowball with 1 or 2 picks. And we're going to have quite a significant break because of how quick that series was. We will be able to announce that next match will in fact be Macedonia versus Bulgaria, but this is going to be in about 2 hours from now with a little bit of change less. So feel free to stay tuned and keep that in mind, but definitely just enjoy your afternoon, take a break, keep in mind the other things going on, and we'll see you guys later.
Good luck, North Macedonia.
One purpose. One dream. One rhythm. One step closer to glory. They say history remembers the winner. So who will be the ones writing the future? The halls of power call for their kings. The ones who won't back down. The ones who believed. The ones who knew that over 100 nations can't be wrong. Join the fight between August 24th and September 3rd as Yash becomes the world's esports capital.
In the heart of Iași, Romania, the world's top gamers have gathered for the ultimate showdown. IESF brings heart-stopping matches across a variety of gaming genres in an electrifying experience that celebrates the passion and dedication of esports athletes from around the globe. This is more than just a tournament. This is where champions are born, legends are made, and anything is possible. Get ready to witness the ultimate display of skill, strategy, and heart. The IESF World Esports Championship. It's about to take your breath away.
Do you think you've got what it takes? The challenge will be tougher than ever. In 2023, International Esports has a new home. Over 100 nations fighting for the championship in a celebration of everything that makes esports great. Who will rise up to the challenge? Who will be the world champion?
One purpose. One dream. One rhythm. One step closer to glory. They say history remembers the winner.